Welcome to the How to Write a Book podcast, the show that helps you plan, write, and publish your book, even if you're a beginner or just feel like one. Now, for your host, she's written over a dozen books and helps others bring their books to life. Here she is, Maciel.
Hey, writer. Welcome back. So we are in Nanowrimo day 7. And so now I have my ordering correct. Yes. So now we're on episode 47, day 7. And I'm like, okay. Oh, all right. For some reason, that anxiety rose and it's like, no, I'm good. We're good. All right. So for Nanowrimo day 7, the writer's block for today is, it's been a week. What if I fell off or I'm about to? Oh, yeah. So, usually when we go through NaNoWriMo, there's going to be life. Like life happens and the things happen, and sometimes you get back from work and you're exhausted, or maybe you just it blanked, you have such a busy day, things like that. Anything can happen. And we're going to just go ahead and let yourself know that you're giving yourself permission ahead of time to quote unquote mess up. Now, this is something that I tell my clients, and it's actually really helpful in any aspect of life, really. And actually, David Goggins, the super athlete, he talks about this, and it's about having a contingency plan. And also, the confidence coach Trish Blackwell also talks about this. So having that contingency plan. So, in other words, expect failure. So go ahead and imagine, what's going to be your worst case scenario regarding NaNoWriMo. And this can apply to all writing. So, say you get sick and you're out for 2 weeks, or maybe you knock on wood, get laid off. If you could hear that was the sound of my head. So yeah. We have to anticipate these. We have to anticipate that we're going to fail. If you're going to run a marathon, you have to remember what's going to happen if you trip, if you get a cramp, if you just are exhausted. So the same thing with writing. You have to prepare for your contingency plans, because for you to expect I'm going to be on top of it 100% all the time, every time, it's too much pressure for you. And it's not that you can't do it. It's just that it's a lot of pressure. And if you have a hiccup or an obstacle, boom, your confidence gets hurt. And that's totally normal. But we don't have to go through that. Instead, we can say, okay, let me plan ahead. If I'm having a bad day, or if I'm just I haven't written in 3 days, for example, what am I going to do? My option is 1, beat myself up and tell myself, well, see, you're going to do it again, or 2, have a backup plan. So here's what I tell my clients. Say you're planning a writing day, all right? So you wake up on Friday, but you know that you're actually struggling with some internal issues. One of my clients she's dealing with some depression, and we are going through her book, and we're talking about, okay, what about the days that you're just not feeling it, right? And it totally happens. Girl, it totally happens. I'm here for you. I'm here to support you. And there is also something to be said for having a self-care day. So keep that in mind as well. Sometimes you really do need just to give yourself a break and go back to loving yourself in the best way that you can, which is to do things that you enjoy or talk to people that you enjoy talking to, things like that. But say there's a day where you're really feeling out of it, but you also feel like, hey, I could write this book. I could write something today. I could, but man, I just don't want to get to the keyboard. All right. So go ahead and write that down on your journal or in your planner and tell yourself, when I have this thought, I'm supposed to write at Friday at noon, but if I have a thought that I don't want to, then here's what I'm going to do. And your contingency plan will be personal to you. So for me, I'll tell myself, I'm going to write anyways. I'm going to book a Focus Me session. I'm going to pull out my dictation device. I will tell myself these words, which is dictation is going to be something that no one's going to look at first. Okay, I can do whatever I want with this. I'm supposed to have fun. And also tell myself, I'm only going to spend 60 minutes. That's okay. Just 60 minutes. And if it sucks and if it sounds like garbage, that's okay. As long as I wrote those words. And then also you can tell yourself something like, I'm also going to have a cup of hot tea, or I'm going to have a little chocolate bar, or after this, I'm going to watch my favorite episode of Friends, for example. So in other words, give yourself that backup plan so that when you hit that roadblock, you know how to bounce back. So it will happen and it's totally normal. So know how to bounce back. Have that backup plan, right? Essentially, when you're going out into a marathon, you don't just have your running shoes and that's it. You might have some gel packs or some Band-Aids, maybe some extra water bottles, right? So if you can prepare for a marathon, you can also prepare for your writing, because writing is also the mental aspect as well. So if you feel like you fell off or you're about to prepare, that's what I'm telling you today. Prepare, because it's okay if you fall off. Just get back on. That's the whole goal. And really, your story is going to be that much better, because when you fall off, you're like, oh, I got back on anyways. Bam, you did it. So your action item for today is to write out your contingency plan, your backup plan. Write it down. Write what you're going to do when you hit that roadblock. All right, so that's NaNoWrimo Day 7. Y'all, if you need more information, go to www.nanowrimo.org. And if you need some writing help, you get 3 free writers resources. I call them the Writers Toolkits at blackheartedstudios.com. That's www.blackheartedstudios.com, and click the tab Resources for Writers. Also, if you have any questions, email me at massiel@blackheartedstudios.com. That's MASSIEL at blackheartedstudios.com. Y'all, thank you so much for joining us today. And as always, we're looking forward to hearing what you write, and see you on the other side. Hey there, writer. Thank you for listening to the How to Write a Book podcast with your host, Massiel Valenzuela. If you like the show, we'd be happy if you left a review. For more information on writing and the writer's life, go to www.themassiel.com. That's www.themassiel.com. We'll see you on the other side.